Hello and welcome. I am glad you decided to join me today. What we will explore together may truly become the decisive factor between comfort and crisis. We will talk about situations when the temperature drops and traditional heating methods are unavailable. This is not just another survival video. It's about understanding the principles of heating. You will learn how to protect yourself and your loved ones. Fire is not always available or safe to use in many circumstances. Before we move on to these potentially saving methods, I want to express my sincere gratitude for your presence here. If you find this content useful, I would appreciate it if you could take a minute. Press the like button to stay connected with our community. Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Moreover, if you are serious about improving your readiness for cold weather, I have selected several quality products. You will find the link in the description. These are not random recommendations. These are tools and equipment that significantly enhance your ability to confidently cope with difficult conditions. Now let's imagine a situation. Understanding the seriousness of the circumstances is of immense importance. Imagine the following. The wind outside roars so loudly that your windows tremble. Ice forms on all surfaces. Then silence falls. The quiet hum of electricity that you never noticed is gone. It has completely disappeared. Your heating system turns off. Digital screens go dark. After a few minutes, you feel the temperature inside starting to drop. It decreases gradually. You glance out the window and see the wires bending under the weight of ice. Help may not arrive for several hours. This could drag on for days. Let's consider another situation. You are returning home on what seems to be a normal winter evening. Your car veers off the road into a ditch or simply breaks down. You are far from civilization. The engine won't start. Your phone barely gets a signal. Darkness quickly sets in. The temperature is already well below freezing. With each passing minute, she falls even lower. There is another situation in nature. Perhaps you are an experienced tourist. You have encountered unexpected circumstances. Your neatly packed fire-starting supplies have gotten wet. Perhaps they fell into the water, or simply got lost. You are about to spend a night in the wilderness. You lack the simplest means for survival. Humanity has relied on fire for thousands of years. These are not fictional scenarios from disaster movies. These are real situations that threaten people every winter. This happens all over the world. When such things happen, your life completely depends on one key truth. Your body is already an extremely efficient mechanism for producing heat. With the right knowledge, you can maximize this innate advantage. Even when ordinary heating methods are unavailable, understanding the basics of heat retention is the first step to not freezing without fire. It's important to realize how exactly you lose heat. Most people have a vague idea about this. They believe that the cold seeps inside. But this is not entirely correct. Cold does not extract heat. In fact, your heat seeks to leave the body, trying to balance the temperature with the surrounding environment. Everything changes if you understand the paths through which heat escapes. These paths are used for heat to leave your body. You can block each of them. Let's start with conductivity. This is the simplest mechanism of heat loss. It occurs through direct physical contact. Your body touches cold objects or surfaces. Think about what happens when you place your palm on a frozen metal railing. The intense cold sensation does not arise because the cold penetrates your hand. In fact, the warmth of your hand leaves the metal at a frightening speed. The same happens in other situations. You sit on the cold ground, lie on the cold floor, or lean against an uninsulated wall. The warmth of your body is transferred directly to these cold materials, leaving you in the cold. The solution always lies in creating barriers. Layers of insulation between your warm body and cold surfaces work excellently. They significantly slow down heat transfer. Convection is the second main way of heat loss. This requires moving air or liquid. They carry away your heat. Step outside on a calm, cool day. You may feel uncomfortable, but it is tolerable. Now imagine the wind. Suddenly, the same temperature feels much colder. This is the action of convection. The moving air seems to blow away the thin, warm layer around you. Your body creates this layer. The wind constantly replaces it with new cold air. This is why the wind feels so strong. This is why drafts seem significantly colder than sealed rooms. To prevent convection, it is necessary to stop the circulation of air around the body. You can close the gaps, create barriers against the wind, or wear fabrics that do not let the wind through. The third mechanism is radiation. This moment surprises many. Your body constantly emits infrared heat. You actually radiate heat in all directions, like a small stove. This warmth passes through the air and even empty space until it meets something and heats it. You have probably experienced this. Stand next to a cold window. You don't even touch it, but you feel the cold penetrating you. This happens because your body transmits heat to the cold surface, which absorbs it. A great solution here is reflective materials. Emergency blankets with a shiny metallic surface work perfectly. They reflect your emitted warmth back to you, preventing it from escaping into the environment. There is also a fourth way worth mentioning: evaporation. When moisture evaporates from your skin, a certain process occurs. Similarly, when moisture evaporates from your clothing, the same thing happens. It requires energy in the form of heat. This energy causes a phase transition from liquid to gas. Where does this energy come from? From your body. That's why getting wet in cold weather is extremely dangerous. That's why sweating can be dangerous. Every evaporating water molecule loses a significant amount of heat, depleting your body's precious warmth. Therefore, staying dry is crucial, especially for survival in cold weather. With this understanding, you are already one step ahead. You are ahead of most people. Now you know exactly what you will face. This means you can act wisely rather than just hoping for the best. Let's develop some universal principles. They are applicable both when sheltering a house and in bad weather, in a car. These principles work when you improvise in nature. They are the basis for preserving warmth without fire. These principles effectively target the paths of heat loss we recently discussed. The first and most important is the technique of layering. Everyone is talking about layered clothing now, but let's take a closer look at why and how it works. The magic is not in the materials of the clothing, although they are important too. It lies in the air gaps between the layers. Air is actually a great insulator, especially when it is trapped and still. Each layer of clothing creates pockets of dead air. The warmth of your body warms these spaces. These warm air pockets protect you from the cold outside. Your layered clothing system should serve different functions. Start with the base layer, which is directly on your skin. This layer regulates moisture. In this regard, wool and synthetic fabrics are excellent. They remove sweat from the skin and continue to insulate even with slight moisture. Cotton is harmful in low temperatures as it retains moisture on the skin, increasing both evaporative cooling and heat loss. Then add an insulating layer. Here, fleece, down, or wool sweaters will work excellently. Their task is to maximize airspace and retain heat. Finally, your outer layer should protect against wind and wick away water. Without this layer, all the warm air pockets you've created will be lost due to convection. But there is something else that many people overlook. You can apply the layering approach to your environment, not just to clothing. If you are indoors, hang blankets and sheets. Create several barriers between yourself and the cold walls. Cover the windows with fabric. This will create an airy space. Set up a tent in the room, creating a small warm area inside a colder space. Each layer of insulation helps. The second universal principle focuses on fueling your own stove. Your body produces heat through metabolism. Metabolism requires two things: calories and hydration. Many people skip meals when they are anxious or feel cold. However, it is at this time that your body needs energy the most. Nutritious high-calorie foods are perfect for this. Nuts work impeccably. Nut butters are excellent. Chocolate is simply magnificent. Dried fruits are beneficial. Energy bars handle the task wonderfully. They provide a long-lasting source of energy and are easily absorbed. When you are fighting a cold, your body uses more calories, so try to eat more than usual. Hydration is also extremely important, although it is often overlooked in winter. People usually associate dehydration with heat. Nevertheless, the cold air is often very dry. You lose moisture with every breath, even if you don't sweat. Dehydration thickens the blood, reducing its circulation and causing a feeling of cold. It also decreases the body's ability to generate heat. If you have access to hot drinks, that's great. They warm you from the inside, and your body doesn't need to expend energy to heat cold water. Just make sure the drinks aren't too hot, as that can be dangerous and ineffective. The third important concept concerns strategic movement. When you are active, your muscles generate a lot of heat. This is why shivering occurs. It is your body's automatic response that generates heat through rapid muscle contractions. Light, purposeful physical activity can help retain warmth without the negative consequences that may arise from intense workouts. The key word here is delicacy. Sweating in cold weather is very dangerous. When your layers of clothing become damp, you lose something important: the air pockets necessary for retaining heat. This creates pathways for heat loss through evaporation and conductivity. Try doing light squats, rotating joints, tensing and relaxing muscle groups, marching in place. These exercises improve circulation and create warmth without causing sweating. Finally, there is also a mental component that should not be underestimated. Panic drains energy, distorts perception, and leads to poor decisions that can worsen your condition. By staying calm, you can think more clearly, recall strategies, and properly assess your resources. People who maintain a constant psychological state perform better in cold emergencies than those who panic, even if they have the same physical resources. Therefore, practice mindful breathing. Remember your knowledge and abilities. Focus on what you can control, and don't worry about what is beyond your power. Now let's apply everything we've learned to the most common situation. When the power goes out on a cold day, you find yourself at home. The good news is that your home structure already provides many benefits. You have walls and a roof that protect against precipitation and wind. Within these walls, there is thermal insulation. Even if your heating system is not working, you have resources distributed throughout the house. They can be used to create warmth. The first strategic decision is to choose which room will become your cozy refuge. In this case, it's not necessary to choose a large room. On the contrary, a smaller room will be much more effective. Your body can significantly raise the temperature in a confined space. Heat in a large room will dissipate uselessly. Find the smallest suitable place, perhaps a bathroom or an inner bedroom. Even a spacious closet might work. Interior spaces without external walls are warmer, as they are shielded from the cold air by surrounding rooms. Once you have chosen your shelter, the next step will be to seal it. You need to protect the room from convection. Walk around the space and find all possible gaps. Problematic areas are the gaps under doors and cracks around window frames. Seal all places where air can pass through. Towels are great for blocking gaps under doors. Roll them tightly and press them in place. If you have extra blankets, hang them on the doors. This will create an additional obstacle. Windows are the main sources of heat loss, even when they are closed. Glass conducts heat well. Cold windows create convective currents in the room. Cover all windows with the thickest material you can find. Blankets, sleeping bags, heavy curtains, all of this will do. Even cardboard from packaging will be useful. If you have leftover bubble wrap from packaging, it's surprisingly effective. Press it against the window glass. They will create insulating air pockets while still letting in some light. Here is a clever tip that many overlook. If sunlight hits your windows during the day, try doing the opposite. Temporarily remove the coverings from the windows that face the sun. Sunlight heat, especially in winter, can provide significant passive heating. As soon as the sun shifts or sets, immediately close these windows. It will prevent heat loss. Temporary warmth on clear days can play an important role. Inside your protected space, use layered clothing. Even when at home, start with thermal underwear, or the warmest base layer you have. Add several layers of outer clothing, sweaters, hoodies, or anything that adds bulk and air. Don't worry about how you look. Comfort and warmth are the only things that matter. Pay special attention to the extremities. They have a large surface area compared to their volume and lose heat quickly. Wear 2 pairs of socks. Even indoors, use a warm hat or beanie, as a lot of heat escapes through the head. Wrap a scarf around your neck, and a hood will help keep warmth around your head and neck. Gloves or mittens may seem excessive at home, but they will be useful if the temperature drops significantly. Consider the tactical advantage of insulation and ignoring the rest of the rooms. Close the doors to unused rooms. Do not waste energy heating empty spaces. Don't worry about the places you ignore. Organize your sleeping area. Bring blankets. Take sleeping bags. Gather pillows in your shelter. The more insulation you can add to yourself and around you, the better. If you have a tent, set it up in the shelter. This will create an additional barrier to retain heat and reduce the volume that needs to be heated. This space should accommodate several people. The shared warmth of bodies is very effective. This is the same principle that helps penguins survive. By huddling together, they retain warmth in the Antarctic conditions. If you have access to hot water, try something clever. Perhaps with the help of a gas water heater. You can either heat water on a gas stove that doesn't require electricity or make homemade hot packs by filling a sturdy plastic bottle with hot water. Metal thermoses work too. Wrap them completely in towels or place them in socks to avoid burns. Then place them around your body, next to your torso, or at your feet. They won't retain heat for long, but they will provide excellent temporary warmth and boost morale, which is more important than you can imagine. If you have a power source, like a generator, you have another option. You can heat a sock filled with dried rice or beans in the microwave for about 30 seconds. This will create a simple reusable heating pad. When night falls and the temperature drops, Put on all the blankets you have. Create a nest of insulation from both above and below. Remember that contact with the cold floor or mattress will take heat away from your body. Think about the strategic use of those emergency mylar blankets. You can hang them on the walls or use them to create a low ceiling in your home. The reflected heat will return to you. They look strange, but it has been scientifically proven that they work. Let's change the situation and talk about how to stay warm if you get stuck in your car. Cars are a particular problem. They are metal boxes that easily release heat outside. They have large glass windows that draw heat away. They are often exposed to the wind and lack natural protection. Nevertheless, they also provide important protection from rain and wind. Therefore, your plan should consist of using their advantages and minimizing their disadvantages. Immediately focus on thermal insulation and protection from the cold. Close all the windows you can. Use everything at hand. Rugs, spare clothes, blankets, newspapers, even garbage bags. Secure or clamp the materials in place. Flip the reflective sun visor so that the reflective side is facing inward. This will reflect the warmth of your body back instead of letting it escape through the windshield. Cold air seeps through the door seals and any cracks. Stuff these places with extra socks. Rags and crumpled paper will do. The seats and floor of the car are vast cold surfaces. They will draw heat away from your body. Place layers of material between yourself and the seat. Jackets will do. Folded blankets work too. Spare clothes will help. Anything that creates a barrier. Use mats or newspapers to cover the floor. Protect the area where your feet stand. The cold metal floor will constantly draw heat from your feet. Many people worry about the need to start the engine for heating. It's difficult and dangerous if not done correctly. Carbon monoxide poisoning is a serious problem, especially if your exhaust pipe is blocked by snow or if there is inadequate ventilation in the car. If you really need to start the engine, make sure the exhaust pipe is clear. Open a window for ventilation. However, this creates a dilemma. Open windows let in cold air, hindering your attempts to warm up. If you have enough fuel, brief engine starts may help. However, with the heater on, this should not be considered a reliable solution. Never start the engine if there is a danger that exhaust may accumulate around the car. Chemical hand warmers are very useful in the car. Place them in gloves. Stuff them in boots. Keep them close to the body under the jacket. If you prepare in advance and have a thermos with a hot drink, sip it slowly. It keeps your internal warmth. The warm liquid warms you from within. Your body doesn't need to expend energy to heat cold drinks. Your body remains the main source of heat. Keep him active, but don't overdo it. Squeeze and relax the fingers of the feet and hands. Rotate the ankles and wrists. Make gentle circular movements with the arms and shoulder tilts. This supports blood circulation. It prevents harmful numbness that can lead to frostbite. However, avoid intense physical activity that causes sweating. If you start to shiver, know that this is a positive sign. It means your body is actively generating heat through muscle contractions. However, if you have stopped shivering but still feel a strong cold, it is a warning sign. Or if you begin to feel fatigue and confusion, these are serious signs of developing hypothermia. Stay vigilant. If you are with someone, keep an eye on each other constantly. Pay attention to signs of worsening condition. If there is sunlight, position the car to maximize its use through the window. Sunlight, even weak winter sunlight, can create a greenhouse effect. It warms. And then, when the sun sets, quickly close the windows again. Preserve any residual warmth. The most difficult situation is to find yourself in the wild without the ability to start a fire. Perhaps your fire starting equipment has been destroyed or lost. Perhaps the weather makes it impossible, or you are in a zone where fire is prohibited. Whatever the reason, you are now completely dependent on natural resources and your own knowledge. Your main task is to isolate yourself from the ground. Direct contact with frozen ground or snow will quickly draw heat from your body through heat transfer. Start gathering natural insulating materials immediately. Dry leaves will work well. Pine needles too. Grass will be useful. Moss will also come in handy. Ferns are functional. Gather any vegetation you can find. Lay it down in a thick layer, at least 60 centimeters deep, preferably more. This will become your mattress. If you have a tarp, use it. Fabric for covering can also be used. Even a large plastic bag will do. Place it on top of the plant layer to create a moisture barrier, allowing you to lie on it instead of the cold ground. Next, consider wind protection, as convection or moving air will quickly take your warmth. Look for natural wind shelters, like large stones. Fallen trees can also provide protection. Dense thickets will help. Even a depression in the terrain can offer sufficient shelter. If you are in the snow and have the strength, you can dig a small snow cave or trench. Snow provides excellent insulation if you don't get wet and ensure ventilation to avoid carbon dioxide buildup. Be extremely careful with the structural stability. You don't want it to collapse on you. Alternatively, you can build a simple shelter. Use branches, logs, or pine boughs. Anything that creates a barrier between you and the moving air will be useful. If there is a tree nearby with low dense branches, look underneath it. The crown may have prevented snow accumulation, creating a naturally drier area. This can become your base location. The location is very important, so if it is safe, look around before making a decision. Without fire, your options for creating external heat sources are severely limited, but not zero. If you come across stones that have been warmed by the sun, they may be hot. Carefully check their temperature, then place them nearby, but not directly on the body to avoid burns. A compost pile, for example, emits heat during the decomposition of organic materials as bacteria break down plant remains. If you come across such a pile, you can sit next to it for minimal warmth. Just use common sense. Avoid proximity to any source that may be dangerous, as harmful microorganisms may be present. Outdoors, you may need to dress lighter. Be creative in improvisation. You can stuff your jacket with dry leaves. Fill the trousers and sleeves with grass or moss. This will create additional insulation layers. If you have rope, use it. Or make it from plant fibers. Tie the sleeves at the wrists and the trouser legs at the ankles. This will help keep the insulation materials in place. A plastic bag can serve as an improvised vapor barrier. It can be worn over socks. Alternatively, you can use it as a hood, but be very careful. Never block the airways. Always ensure good ventilation. The position of the body significantly affects heat retention. By curling up in a fetal position, you minimize your surface area. This reduces heat loss compared to lying stretched out. If you are with another person, share warmth. This is quite effective. Lie back to back. If you have a sleeping bag, press together in it. Shared warmth has saved many lives in very cold conditions. You can also use your exhaled breath to warm up. Wrap your hands around your nose and mouth. Breathe into them. Either breathe into the collar of your jacket, creating a pocket of warm air. Over time, these small changes accumulate into a significant advantage. Movement is also critically important for generating heat. However, one must be extremely careful not to sweat. Try slow squats or some targeted lunges. Just walk around your shelter at a leisurely pace. Stop as soon as you feel sweat. Allow your body to cool down a bit. Moisture in clothing in cold conditions can lead to serious consequences. A critical situation can arise swiftly. Maintain absolute mental discipline. Surviving in the wild during winter is both a psychological and physical challenge. It's easy to fall into depression or panic when you are cold and uncomfortable. But giving in to despair is useless. Instead, focus on specific tasks. Gather extra insulation, improve wind protection, change your position, set small, achievable goals, and mark each of them. This will help you maintain concentration and motivation, which in turn contributes to physical survival. Preparing for emergencies greatly alleviates everything. Let's discuss what needs to be prepared. Having emergency supplies can turn a potential crisis into a bearable inconvenience. Buy several emergency thermal blankets for the home. They fold compactly and are inexpensive. They reflect up to 90% of your heat back. Keep a few at home. Consider them essential gear. Purchase enough chemical hand and foot warmers. They have been working for several hours, creating stable warmth. Keep quality adhesive tape for sealing drafts and emergency repairs. Bubble wrap may seem strange, but it's great for emergency window insulation. Take care of a power outage kit. Include warm blankets, spare batteries, flashlights, a hand crank radio, a first aid kit, non-perishable high-calorie food, several gallons of water, and all necessary medications. When the light goes out, you can simply grab your kit instead of scrambling in the dark. Put your plan into action. If you drive in winter, you must have a winter emergency kit in your car. This is mandatory. Without exceptions, pack a sturdy shovel, use cat litter or sand for traction, extra blankets, a spare jacket, gloves, headphones, snacks, water, a flashlight, reflectors, a portable phone charger, or battery jump starter. By keeping this kit in your car year-round, you ensure that you are always prepared, not just when you remember. Quality clothing for cold weather is essential for outdoor travel, designed for lower temperatures than you expect. Sleeping bags can be synthetic or down, suitable for the coldest conditions you might encounter. Tarps will be useful for building shelters. If you are going on a hike in remote places, consider bringing a personal beacon for emergencies. Additionally, develop practical skills such as shelter construction and emergency isolation methods. Learn to understand weather patterns. This knowledge requires no physical effort, but can be very valuable at the right moment. Above all, remember that calmness and focus are your most powerful tools in a cold emergency. Take deep, conscious breaths. This will help calm the mind and think clearly. The priority should be to prevent heat loss, not to create additional heat. Do not waste your precious energy on useless actions. Everything you do should be productive and purposeful. Every resource can be used as a tool, from your clothing to your breath, from snow to leaves. All can become means to combat the cold if you know how to use them. We have come a long way today. Understanding how your body loses heat through conduction, convection, radiation, and evaporation will help you apply practical solutions at home, in the car, and in the wild. The main thing to remember, fire is undoubtedly valuable, but it's not the only option. Your body is already producing heat. There are countless technologies for capturing and reusing that heat. Whether it's hanging blankets, window coverings, layered clothing, or sheltering under leaves, all these tactics return control to you, taking it away from the freezing cold. I hope you found this material useful. If so, let me know of your support. Share it with those who can benefit from these techniques.